Hi, I'm Marsh from StrataGames, and today we are playing some more Tron. This is pretty similar to the list that made top 4 Pauper a couple weeks or a month ago. I played it a couple of weeks ago and actually really enjoyed it. I'm not usually that big of a fan of Tron, but I thought that this had a lot of really interesting stuff going for it. And then with the new Giant's Boulder, I figured we had to add that and give it a try. This is a card that's probably going to impact a lot of Tron decks, and this is the one that I wanted to try it out in. So I pretty much just took the list that we had before, and I swapped out 2 barrels of Blasting Jelly, 2 Candy Trails for the Giant's Boulders, since it kind of does a similar thing to both of them. I could have fully replaced the barrels of Blasting Jelly, but I wanted to see if going up to 10 of these artifacts that improves our colored mana would be helpful, and if losing the card draw from the Candy Trail and the life gain would be that detrimental, because otherwise we just get to have more removal and more color fixing in our deck. If it's not too detrimental, that seems pretty good. But anyway, the idea of the Tron, that's a different deck, Tron, is that we're going to be using Mysidian Elder and Black Mage's Rod to ping our opponents to death slowly, or if we get a bunch of wizard tokens very quickly. Ghostly Flicker is the main way that we can get additional tokens by flickering the Elders or the Rods to get just tons and tons of creatures that deal extra damage for each spell that we cast. Flicker also synergizes with a lot of these artifacts we were already talking about, not the barrels so much, but you can get more scry from your Giant's Boulders, your Candy Trails. We can get more card draws from our Prophetic Prisms or our Lembas. But ideally, we're flickering it like Cryogen Relics, which draws us a card when it leaves and when it re-enters. So that's 2 cards per relic targeted. And we have Brambleworm, which is just a really good card in these Tron decks because it does a little bit of everything that you want. It stabilizes you with life gain, it blocks anything, and it could just be a win con if you hit your opponent with it 3 times. And Ghostly Flicker also gives us additional life when targeting the worm, which can be really, really strong. We have a 1 of Kaervek's Torch as just a way to kind of finish the game if we just have tons of mana to dump into it, which shouldn't be too hard. We have some more card draw with Eviscerator's Insight, which draws us cards and then obviously flashes back as well. We have Expedition Map, of course, to find our Tron lands. And we have some Nile Spellbombs to interfere with our opponent's graveyards, as well as a Bachuka Bog, Conduit Pylons for a little bit more color fixing and Surveil. Islands, as blue is pretty much our main color, although we only have 7 cards that are blue here. A Polluted Mire, which is just a land we can tutor up with an Expedition Map in the late game to cycle, draw a new card. And then we have some Hydroblasts, Cast Down, Breath Weapon, Moment's Peace, and another Nile Spellbomb in the sideboard. So let's take this for a league and see how we do.
Thanks to Card Market for sponsoring this video.
I don't think this one's going to work for us. This has just 1 land, but we have a lot of scry. We're on the draw. We're already on 6, so I think we keep it. Do I get rid of like a spell bomb? It is technically something we can cast, but it doesn't really do that much for us. Or do we just get rid of like a worm for later? We probably have enough card draw with this stuff. We don't need the cryogen, I'm going to say. Only 2 Glistener, 4 of them must have been bad. Yeah, that was something that I noticed was like, you'd kind of think that you would want 4 Glisteners if you're going to go for the Infect plan, but like, you really only need 1 if you're going to be pumping it with your Timberwatch Elf and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty goofy. All right, Ghostly Flicker I think we're getting rid of. Map we'll keep. I can't play and crack the map next turn, so we'll probably just play it with a Giant's Boulder. Looks like White Weenie and Leonardo coming down immediately. That is exactly how I want to start when I'm playing White Weenie against Tron, I will say. So let's go for a Boulder. Try to find Power Plant or something. Torch and Rod we don't need. Map. If we can... like naturally, I mean, we've scryed a lot of cards to the bottom. If we can draw into a power plant or a mine and then find the last one with the map, we might be in an okay spot to get a worm down before we die here. But they go for an informant and an inspector, pump the Leonardo. Yeah, like dealing 5 damage here on turn 3. Pretty good for them. I can play a cryogen. Probably, I want to hit my land drop, so cracking map probably makes the most sense, but we also need to, we don't know which land to get specifically. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, we're pretty much dead if they have any way to pump, but let's play as though we're not. And that would mean probably using the map now, hoping to get lucky. So we'll go for a power plant. Why not? Play a spell bomb. If we don't die here and we naturally draw a mine, then I could play a worm and crack a Candy Trail. Like, we could maybe survive. Is that a cat in your lap? Are you excited to hear from me? It was a cat. No worries. No other reason. Skyfisher into Informant. Discard a Veteran. Swing with the team. We drew the mine. Oh my gosh. I don't know if we're going to be able to stabilize, but like, this is the only way that there would be a chance. What's going on, Ben? So I can play a worm, go up to 8, and I can crack a Candy Trail. Play into your outs. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. Here's a worm. I mean, we're at 8. we're going to probably have to block the Leonardo. 1, 2, 7. That's still 10 damage, which means we're not dead to the Candy Trail, or with the Candy Trail cracking. Catastrophe here in Northwest Indiana. On the other side of it now. Yeah, I heard it got pretty bad. We had it pretty bad down here too. We lost power for about 24 hours on Tuesday into Wednesday. I was actually going to stream on Tuesday and then lost power. So yeah, it's been pretty rough, but I'm sure it was even worse up there. Yeah, I'm going to have to block here. Crack a Candy Trail. Ghostly Flicker. Man, I wish I could use that right now. Don't have enough colored mana for all of these. We don't have a breath weapon in our deck or anything, so I don't think we can get there here. Don't think that does it. Black Mage's Rod. 95% of Lake County without power starting Tuesday. Just got it back last night. That's crazy. I'm very sorry to hear. We can go up to 4, and I could exile a Brambleworm. We could go up to 9. It's not good enough. But going to play some Pauper tonight. Nice. All according to plan. All right. Unfortunately, even with our cool draw, they just had the ideal start that they want against us. So we get some breath weapons and Moment's Peace here. I think Black Mage's Rod. I mean, it's okay. Like, it blocks their Raffine's Informants, but not really. Nice to see you finally playing Flicker Tron. I wouldn't call it that, but there is Flicker and there is Tron. But so I guess maybe you're right. Graveyard Hate is like okay against them, but not really the best, especially because they're going to take out veterans probably. So I think we just get rid of the spell bombs. I don't play Snacker Gates, but I play Night Gates with Snacker. Exactly. Like, some people just don't know how to name things properly. We mostly just need to survive, so I think we can cut down on our win cons here. Alright, this one looks decent. We have 1 million of our lands, or artifacts to give us colored mana, which is nice because they might Dust to Dust. Get rid of a couple of them. We also have 2 of our lands here, so we're looking for a mine. Elder and a Worm, we're going to get rid of those. Kept a Veteran in, interesting. Let's go for a Lembas. The Scry helps us find a land ideally. It does, not the right land, but that's okay. Swing. Another Leonardo. No, just attack for 1. Skyfisher. Moment's Peace is fine. I think we just Cryogen Relic here. Don't really need the Prism down, and if they go for a Dust to Dust, I'd rather them have weaker targets like Lembas and Cryogen. Veteran, Informants. Could be a Battle Screech here. No, just a Grange. Alright, I think I want to Insight. We really need to draw a land here. So Insight the Cryogen, draw 3. We get the Mine, which means we have a Prism. Ooh, only taking 5 probably. So probably play Map plus another Prism. That's fine. Ooh, Ghostly Flicker's pretty good too. Hey, just recently started watching your videos. Happy to catch you live, especially with this deck your video on. It got me wanting to build it bad. Yeah, it got me wanting to build it bad, and I'd never felt that way before about a Tron deck. But yeah, and then with Giant's Boulder, it was just a perfect excuse to try it again. So we're trying to see how that works. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm glad you're able to catch live as well. Leo's coming down, so they got a pretty good start here. This is why Breath Weapon's not even the best against Mono White anymore. Like, they have so many 3 toughness things. I mean, we're in an okay spot with our Flickers, I think. And, of course, Moment's Peace, which we're going to start leaving up. Here's a Worm. Should sneak 1 Ardent Elementalist in here, though. Then we're just going to Flickertron, and that's not what we're about. Replace the Blasting Jelly with the big Boulder. 2 of the barrels and 2 Candy Trails. Because I wanted to see if, like, upping the number of colored sources would be beneficial, or maybe we just want to fully replace the barrels. I mean, we probably just start fogging, right? I could block, but I'm taking too much damage otherwise, I think. We'll just do this. Crack a Clue, Veteran. Crack an Expedition Map for another tower, so we can just use the mana. Prism. I mean, we can hold them off for several turns. Prism. We'll get the full playset down, and yeah, start cracking some other stuff. I mean, I could just use Boulder to blow up Leonardo, block Informant, and then we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's probably worth it. Skyfisher. Why not attack? Because of what I just mentioned, I'm gonna actually go for a block here and not go for a fog, because I'd like to eat their guy, unless they go for a Guardian's Pledge or something. And like, I could attack, and I guess that would maybe, if I, with all of my Moments Pieces, would maybe hold them back a little bit longer, but didn't think I necessarily needed to. Let's go for a Cracking a Limbus here, I guess, with the extra mana. Got more prisms than prescription reading glasses, exactly. Could flicker the worm. Yeah, we can do that too. I just don't think I need to at the moment, and I figured with the being able to blow up Leonardo, unless they have a Guardian's Pledge or like another Leonardo here, which they might, then now I can use a Fog and I actually get to eat their pledge. This is 4, 4, 3, 3, so that's... I could still just eat their guy, but probably don't need to take that extra 8 damage. Got to win the game somehow. I'm going to win the game at some point. We are so far ahead. We don't need to be hasty with it, I think. And if I can get them to throw away extra creatures or Guardian's Pledges and stuff like that by me having a worm back, I'm totally fine with that. Like now, maybe I start attacking because I can flicker the worm. I understand what you were saying before. We could flicker the worm to block and stuff like that, but I just don't think I needed to there. Now we will, but we used a lot of our mana on the prisms and stuff. We were not pinched on mana, but we didn't have the mana to do like everything necessarily, and now we have even more, so I'm more comfortable doing this. Crack a clue. We'll block here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think that's fine. We'll also be gaining 5 from the worm. Not convinced this will happen, but it'll be so funny if they unban Bonder's Ornament and Prophetic Prism and then have to ban a different color filter because it's too versatile. That would be pretty funny, I'll admit. Alright, so we'll go for a flicker on Worm and Prism. What a marsh. How's it going, Russ? And they just concede there. Nice. Yeah, see, we were very much in control. We just needed to play it a little slow, and I think we're good. Flickering Worm in 2026. It's pretty good. Let's see, we have... I mean, this one seems good. Almost to Tron. We have mana, filter, card draw. Got like 2 more hours at work, then I get to go home to edit. Very nice. Quickly approaching the end of the day. Me need to ask, how do you know Peter from the podcast? Is he just a friend from your local scene? Yeah, he's... not local to Cincinnati. He's from Columbus, actually, a couple hours away. But we actually met at the SCG Con 1K that I had a report on. He was the one playing elves who brutally destroyed me. And then we started talking and hanging out a bit more and realized that we both had interest in doing a podcast. We'll go for the Lembas because we're still looking for our tower. Probably want to keep that, especially based on the fact that they just have a couple of inspectors right now. The one playing with his kid, yeah, he had outside assistance from his like 8-year-old child, which I called a judge on and they said was fine. I don't know, it seemed a little outrageous to me, but all right, we can just breath weapon. It doesn't kill Leo, obviously, but it does reduce their power by 4 here. I could obviously wait on it until maybe they play something else, but they could then hold up a Prismatic Strands. I think we probably don't need to do it this turn. Insight. That's just free value going to the graveyard, I think. Yeah, I think we'll just pass. Tron almost feels spoiled for choice between Barrels, Boulder, Candy Trail, Prophetic Prism, Ornament. Don't forget Energy Refractor. Refractor was great for a little while. I think Refractor is like definitely not one that really sees much play now that they're so heavily on... now that Prophetic Prism was unbanned, honestly. I think we'll just go for the weapon here. They didn't play a land, which means they can't have up Strands or Guardian's Pledge. So we don't get got by those, and it reduces the damage by 4. It's almost a Fog. I also asked the head judge. He seemed fine with it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The appeal did not go how I wanted. All right, we probably start with a Candy Trail. Greatsword is not really that worrying. I mean, it can get rid of our Brandborn as a blocker, which is nice, but like it's kind of slow to grow his things. Perfect. So we get Tower, and I think we'll even keep the Power Plant underneath that. Land drops are good. So I'll have 3 mana. So don't really want to play the Prism where they could maybe Dust to Dust our 2 sources. I can also just Barrels this next turn if I need to. So yeah, let's just play Cryogen, I think, since I know what I want to draw. Tower. And then for 3, I guess I already know what I want to draw there, so there's no reason to Lembas. All right, we'll just crack a Candy Trail, or we hold up Moment's Peace if that becomes relevant. My son has suggested that I full swing despite being dead on the crackback. So his kid was probably also giving 5D chess level advice. Yeah. For all I know, it wasn't good advice, but, you know, still. Equip the Greatsword. Oh, I guess I can also just sack the Cryogen here to keep this tapped for a turn. Depending on what they play here, I might do that. Nothing. I think that's good. It makes it so I don't have to sack the Barrels for an extra turn. They're clearly just cracking a Clue, which is also totally fine. Flicker is nice. I probably want to hold that up in case a Dust to Dust happens at some point now. Lembas, they're going to crack their Clue. I'll take another Barrels, actually. We're getting to the point where Barrels as removal is just really nice. I think I'll take a Ghostly Flicker. That's also just like draw a bunch of cards. Play a Prism. Perfect. Play a Barrels. Pass the turn. I mean, each of these is right now, because I sacked the Cryogen, mostly just Divination at instant speed, but that's fine. Divination and dodge Dust to Dust. Not that they could really hit everything they'd want with a Dust anyway. Not Flickertron at all. All right, you got me. It's just the non-combo Flickertron. I hope you're ready for the beautiful disaster that I'll be buying a deck donation for. Your terrified look when I mentioned it last night only encouraged my nonsense. I mean, I truly have, like, I don't think you've mentioned it before, and Aaron hasn't mentioned it, so I have no idea what this deck donation is going to be. But based on your description, it sounds like it'll be some nonsense. We knew it all along. You love Flickertron. You got me. Totally right. Moment's Peace, so it's also Fogtron. True. I have Brambleworm, so it's also Monstertron. Pingers, so it's Pingertron. What other Trons are there? I don't think there's anything called Alter in our deck. This is an egg, though, right? Not in the art, but cracking a thing to draw a card is an egg. So this is Eggstron. Brambleworm is a monster, yep. It's like you couldn't hide your love of Tron lists. Yeah, I mean, I've been just suppressing my desire to play Tron for 2 to 3 years, and it's finally come out, and I had to do it with the deck that fits all the Tron lists together. We'll fit an Alter in here for sure. Sack our Brambleworm for 2 mana so that the exiling it to gain 5 life only costs a green. Oh, that seems so good. Candy doesn't look vegan. Could contain eggs. Very true. Skyfisher. Unfathomable will choose to call it Eldrazi-tron. Not currently, but we could probably fit something in. All right, I think we got plenty of flickers. Let's just go for, I guess it makes sense to do the Lembuses. Couple scries and draw. I will take another tower. I will get rid of this land. Well, we'll get it anyway. We'll get it and we'll like it. All right, there's a Boulder. Play Boulder. Almost a full house, yeah. Just needed that second Moment's Peace. I mean, Moment's Peace had flashback, so it was basically a full house, right? 2 piece and 3 flickers. Bajuka Bog doesn't seem relevant right now. Don't really need a Prism, so we'll get rid of those. Let's go. I could just use Boulder immediately as removal. Plus we have the barrels. I mean, yeah, barrels, we probably want to blow this up. It still leaves us with quite a bit of mana. Yeah, we'll just pass to instead. Pretty much everything we have has the capability of being instant speed, so they're going straight to attacks. So I could fog here, but we're going to want to blow this up before it grows too big anyway. So let's just barrels this down. And then I don't need to fog 3 damage. Now they have a Guardian's Pledge. That makes sense. That's pretty good. Yeah, that would have been the reason to do it on our turn. So I could use another barrels to kill the Leonardo. That's probably worthwhile. Maybe not the most efficient. Like I said, should have done that on my turn, I think. But we'll still only be taking 7. I could still fog it if I wanted to. Or maybe I should have just gone for the Boulder on the Leonardo at that point. I want to take 7. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll even crack a Lembus here. Gain some life. Another Lembus. Play that. Thoughts on the new rock by the little playtesting I had with it seems very good. Seems pretty good so far. I'm not 100% sure, but like it's got a lot of utility. Definitely does not seem bad. All right, let's go for, I guess I have limited colored mana. A little bit. Let's just pass here. I want to thank you for the Pauper Battle Box video. Use it to help me build out an 8-deck Battle Box to take to my LGS. It was tough but rewarding. Awesome. I'm glad that helped. I was hoping that it would be a good resource for people. So this will be 4 damage. Let's crack a Candy Trail. I think we can take 4 damage. Skyfisher. Boulder plus Earthrift plus Scour from Existence could make a viable Tronza list. Yeah, that could be pretty good, for sure. Let's do Viscerator's Insight on a Lembus to draw 2. And let's go for a Ghostly Flicker, 2 Lembuses. Tower. Yeah, we can use more mana. And Brambleworm for sure. All right, there we go. All right, here is the worm. Here's a Boulder. Another Boulder. Boulder does seem good. I'm like, oh, get rid of the Boulder because it just is a filter and we're late enough in the game. But it's also just a really good removal spell. I guess we'll keep it. And an Elder. Play a Candy Trail as pretty much just the same thing. All right, they concede. Yeah, we could have cracked I think I was going to crack the Candy Trail for the Mysidian Elder, play that, and then I can start flickering it with the worm. We have blockers, we have Moment's Pieces. We didn't have to use a single fog. That was pretty good. I'm constantly linking that Battle Box video in the r/Pauper. Saved me so much typing. I mean, honestly, part of why I wanted to make it was that it seemed like there was a what am I looking for? There was a demand for it. Like there were so many people asking for like, how do you build a battle box? And it was like, well, I guess I'll figure out how to build a battle box. So I'm glad that people like it and that alleviates the amount of typing you have to do. Round 2 here. We have an island. I mean, if we get any land, we have like some things to play. We're on the play here. I think with no Tron lands in sight, my brain just goes like, yeah, we hit a second land and we're good. And it's like, well, but we're so far away from Tron, which is the whole point of the deck. So I think we mulligan this one. This one, similarly a 1-lander, but at least we start with this. We'll keep, I think the torch we can get back later if we need. And if we don't hit a land from these, we'll be in some trouble. Another Boulder and a barrels. Well, we're getting rid of barrels. I think I'm getting rid of Boulder. We're just hoping to draw the land. We're against mono blue fairies, looks like, and we don't draw the land. All right. Well, spell bomb's irrelevant, so if we don't draw the land, I can crack it with the Boulder right away. Ooh. If we play a map, it gets countered 100%. So I think I just go for this. I think there's a higher chance that I draw a land here than that this expedition map resolves, honestly. And honestly, same. Like, I'm still not going to play it. Just don't think it does anything for us. It gives them probably free spell stutter value. Oh, they got a couple Humbling Elders. Brine Bear Intruder. Swing with the team. Tower is good. So now I can play a map if we want to bait out something else, or I probably play something else to bait out for the map. It's like Prism is not super important because I have the Boulder. Two colored mana would be nice, so I could play like Black Mage's Rod plus this. So let's go for a Lembus, and I assume we'll get counterspelled. Okay. Which means we get the map down and we can go for Tron next turn. So that's pretty good. Howdy Marsh, how's the Boulder treating you? It's going pretty well so far. I mean, this one didn't scry me into a land on turn 1, which is a little rude, I would say, but otherwise going pretty well. Did you know this card can blow up any permanent? That's crazy. All right, we're going for a mine, and play Black Mage's Rod as a blocker. It's not a very good blocker, but if that resolves, it's probably fine, and if it doesn't, then I get through like a Prism. Although I guess if it just gets snapped and I'm giving him a target to snap, it's not great, but I don't know. We'll cast the Prism, ping him for 1. Ooh, it resolves as well. Polluted Mire we'll have for later. If you've got lethal on board, you could blow up your own land and turn off Tron just to flex. That would be incredible, and not at all bad sportsmanship at all, you know. Of one mind. And they got a Fairy Seer. Scry one to the top. We'll certainly be trying to trade this off if they have another Brine Bearer or whatever, totally fine. But it's kind of the only thing we have to interact. Plus, we can flicker the Black Mage's Rod for another guy if we really want. Tower. Start with a Cryogen Relic. That works. Candy Trail. Cast that. Brambleworm. There we go. I mean, that's probably what they're holding a counterspell for, but if not, it's really good. And even if so, I can gain life from it going to the graveyard. Do I want to... Yeah, correct the Candy Trail. I haven't played a land yet, I don't think, so I can actually play the Worm. I'll be tapping out, so if they counter it, I don't really gain a lot from it. Blow up the island, play the Worm post-combat. Blue players in their single island. Well, they got a few islands, but I could do that like next turn. Well, I don't have the mana for that either. Like, that's really expensive. It's not a bad idea in general to keep in mind, though. Blowing up a land so they can't have a counterspell. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to go for a Worm, which gets countered and I don't gain a lot, or if I just want to hold up like Ghostly Flicker for this and Relic and also Polluted Mire. I feel like I'd want to do that because I could maybe bait out a counterspell there. I mean, they haven't shown that they have a spell stutter or anything, so maybe I do this in the upkeep. Flicker this and flicker this. Didn't see they had 3 untapped when they hold up 2. Yeah, exactly. Not a bad idea for sure. So this will draw us, if it resolves, 2, plus give us a token again to trade with the Intruder. They have a Deprive. Okay. Big fan of Deprive. Going to combat. They have a Ninja, finally. Hacker picks up a Fairy Seer. Fairy Seer. Not sure if it's known already. Where does the name Marsh Flats come from? Is the fetch line connected to a good result of yours? I don't know if I've mentioned it. Not specifically. When I first created my Steam account forever ago, I needed to figure out a name, and I chose the name Marsh, which is my favorite character from the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, fantasy book trilogy. And so I just liked that name, and so I went with Marsh, and then as I made accounts for some other things, it was like, well, obviously Marsh is already taken, so you have to add something to it. And I was like, well, I don't want to add a bunch of numbers or whatever. And was like, well, Marsh Flats, now that I'd gotten into Magic by that point, was just an easy thing to add. So, yeah, so it's half a character that I really like and half the land, but I can't say I've played in any formats competitively where I actually use Marsh Flats. But yeah, that's where the name comes from. All right, so I probably just map for a tower, play a Worm. Where did StrataGames come from? That was mostly just technically the channel. Like at this point, the channel is run primarily by me, but it's technically a partnership between me and two of my brothers. And so we were just we've made videos for a while and we were trying to think of a name for the channel. And while we did a lot of Magic, we also started by doing a lot of board game tips and tricks and some other stuff. And so we wanted it to be more general, to not just a Magic name, but a gaming name. And we just threw a whole bunch of things at the wall. But the main types of games that we always like to play are strategy games. And so we figured we'd go with StrataGames because it's also like a play on StrataGem. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And we like the sound of it. I think they thought of it kind of as a placeholder for a little while, but I grew to like it quite a bit for a very long time. Like pretty quickly, I was like, I really like the name. Let's keep it. Unable to Scream. If they don't have a counterspell for this Ghostly Flicker, it's going to be really good. Because not only am I going to gain 5 life, draw 2 cards, eat one of their guys, but I'm also going to get rid of the Unable to Scream. But if they have a counterspell, that's pretty good. All right, so we can block here. We take 4. I would still like to keep the worm around in case I get another Flicker. I feel like I have a guess about games, but more so the strata part. Yeah, I gotcha. History stream, let's go. Yeah, ask me about all my deepest, darkest secrets now. We'll see what you can drag out of me. All right, Lembas. Brambleworm's pretty good. You can play that, and then we have 6 mana left. I could Cryogen to keep something tapped. That's probably decent. Keep a Fairy Seer tapped, I guess. Draw a card. Black Mage's Rod. Brambleworm. Gain 5. I think we just equip this so that it can trade with like a Moonstrucker Hacker if we want. Pass the turn. Great to finally make a stream. Boulder and the other little rocks like Universal Solvent, Goblin Firebomb, Unstable Obelisk make me wonder if you could make a Tron land destruction deck. Yeah, Shadeblade I think was just mentioning Tronza list could be pretty interesting. Thought it was sarcastic for the Polish meaning of the word, which means loss. That sounds interesting. I'm not familiar with the Polish word. Otherwise, we could say that that's what it was from. That's cool. They have another Unable to Scream. That's pretty annoying. So we will trade here, block here, unless they have another Brine Barrow. Mutagenic Growth. Okay. And a Moonstrucker Hacker on a Miscreant. So they got a lot of card draw here. Well, both worms down then. Miscreant draws a card. Seer. Mine. We can gain life. I can blow up something. We don't have any way to draw cards. That's not great. Well, here's a Rod. And we might as well equip this, since they might be playing Mutagenic Growths. Well, they are playing Mutagenic Growths. So I can maybe do something with that. Yeah, that's all I got. So hoping you were just going to get them by bouldering the Unable to Scream for an ambush block. Yeah, I was too. I guess just losing to the guys in the air. I feel like I have to blow up something here with the boulder. Yeah, I guess bouldering the Unable to Scream could have been something that I had thought about a little more. I guess we'll get rid of a hacker. Well, if I'm going to block here, I should have blown up the other one because now this loses to Mutagenic, but crack Lembas. See what we can draw. Spell Bomb. Draws a card. Also gets spell stuttered, but yep. I mean, we can buy a couple extra turns with the worms from the yard. We're taking a lot of damage here, though. 6. Brambleworm to gain 5. Mine. Amazing. We have a Seer. Worm is so good. Apparently, it's not good enough. But I agree. It's very good. Well, a lot of lands drawn there. We have one more turn, unless they have a Mutagenic or a Ninja or something. Well, 2 ninjas or flash creatures. There's a Ninja and a Mutagenic. We are dead. Well, Breath Weapon is pretty good. Spell Bomb is unnecessary. Cast Down and Moment's Peace both feel decent. Not sure which one's better. Probably Cast Down. Like if we Breath Weapon most everything away and then we cast down like the last few things, that feels good. Barrels and Giant's Boulder is also good removal. You didn't see any Elders, which could have been good blockers. All right. Breath Weapon should be very good. So let's just... Well, we have Breath Weapon. We also have the ability to Giant's Boulder, to scry, hopefully find something, then we have a map. We're going to keep it. Maybe I'm too black sack pilled because I'm keeping all these one-landers, but then again, maybe you just get lucky and you always have it. Mysidian Elder, don't think we need, but we'll keep the power plant. Assuming they don't have like an annul for the map, then I get to resolve this, and then we get Tron pretty quickly. Card with Flashback feels better into Counterspell, but I also suck with this deck and can only give bad advice. Yeah, I was thinking about that a little bit. The Flashback is really nice, but mine, Cast Down. I don't know. I thought that I wanted to like just actually deal with their creatures as opposed to just stopping them. Like in the situation where we are at the end of the game there, fogging them a couple times wouldn't have done much. I guess one cast down wouldn't have done much either. We really needed a breath weapon. We don't need the mine. I think I'll take a cast down. But we get to map here for science. Exactly. That's why we kept the hand. And science has proven one-landers are good. You heard it here first. We get a tower. And I don't think I'm going to play a prism because it just gets countered by a spell stutter or anything, and I can't do anything else. I'd rather just hold up my interaction or, frankly, do nothing if that feels like the right thing to do. Take one here. Yeah, like, we're pretty okay if they're just dealing us one at this point. I'll go for a prism now. They might not even care about it because of the fact that we already have so much colored mana. A null. That's fine. Yeah, we'll cast another one. If they go for a spell stutter here, I'd probably breath weapon their 2 creatures. Or maybe we just cast down because it would still let this resolve. Power plant. All right. Well, we need some more card advantage and stuff, but they're not doing too much. And we have some nice interaction. So now if they go for a ninja, I can just cast it down. No problem. Swing. There's a hacker. I mean, if I go to kill it and they have another one, then it's pretty annoying. They haven't used one previously, but maybe they were just holding up the counter spells. I don't think we're going to kill it here. Do I want to kill it here is the question. I think so. I think we'll just cast it down. They didn't cast their fairy again, so I'm assuming they're just holding up counter spells. Maybe one of them they're going to use here, but that's fine. Dispel, sure. Lembas is a decent draw. Insight's a great draw. Sack that, draw 2. They're going to counterspell it. So while they're tapped out, I could go for an Insight again. I kind of want to. I really need some card advantage to resolve. I can sacrifice a Prism because we have 2 Boulders. I'm not going to Breath Weapon just this hacker away anyway. So yeah, let's do this while they're tapped out. Okay. I mean, Flicker's fine, although I just sacrificed all the things that will give us advantage from that, more than just scrying. So it's a little awkward, but could be good later. There's a Seer. Scry 2 to the top, and then of one mind. Draw them both. Pretty scary stuff. They're going to loot. Away a Brine Bearer Intruder. Pass. Okay, Lembas is good. Let's start with that. I would love if they went for like a spell stutter here, because then I just breath weapon wipe their whole board. Cast down. I'm really looking for more card advantage. Cast down does let me like go for a removal or like a breath weapon on the board, and then if they have a spell stutter for it, I can kill a thing. We already have the Boulders if I really need removal, though. I think we're going to get rid of this. Power plant. Take 3. They have a hacker. Okay, for the other hacker. Then they're going to hacker the Seer. No, they're just swapping them. Okay, here I think I go for a breath weapon because they can't actually stop that with the hacker trick. And then we just kind of slow them down quite a bit, I think. They could have a counter spell, obviously. Just a regular one. Or a dispel. That works. All right. Do I need to just ghostly flicker our Boulder and our Lembas to get some card advantage, or do I just want to like Boulder something here, blow something up? We have the mana too. I think so. We're just gonna blow up this hacker. They have too many lands for me to like want to target their mana base. Elder, I mean, good blocker. If they counter it, that's fine. I mean, not good blocker for a Seer, but for the ninjas that'll come out at some point. They're going to counterspell. So I think I'm going to ghostly flicker these. Just try to get something. We're going to start with the scry 1, I guess. I could like scry a ton, but then if we find something we want immediately, it's a bit of a waste. So it's kind of a gamble either way. Another Boulder is not terrible. I was thinking about sacrificing this Boulder now to blow up this Seer so that they can't get any ninjas down. I think that's what I want to do. And then a Boulder gets countered really easily, but like otherwise is pretty good as removal. I guess we'll keep it. Breath weapon, we don't need a mine. We'll keep the weapon though. So we can do this on their turn, especially because if they flash something out here, yeah, then the Boulder doesn't help as much. Could just Boulder whatever, wherever the hacker comes out and hope they don't have another ninja. I think that's the thing to do at this point. If they have another ninja, we're in a kind of bad spot. Hello, what is this? This is Tron. Tron with a whole bunch of these guys and other various value and such. Scry 1 to the top. We have a breath weapon on top, which I guess if this Boulder doesn't resolve, I can't cast. So that's kind of bad, actually. But oh well. We'll hope for the best. Only been playing Magic for 3 months. What is Pauper? Pauper is a 60-card competitive commons only format. So any card that has ever been printed at common, you can play, except for a short ban list. And yeah, the fact that it's all commons makes it so that the decks are relatively cheap, especially in comparison to other more expensive formats. But that does not detract from the gameplay. The gameplay is extremely interesting, very fun, very skill intensive, and yeah, my favorite format personally. But Pajuga Bog. Well, this definitely feels like probably did not play this match entirely perfectly. I've only played this deck, one league so far, and I've not played this matchup, so like it's a bit of a learning curve. I'm sure that I made some mistakes, but that's why we're here, trying to get better. Here's the Lembas. Hope for no counterspell. Looks like a counterspell. Yep. So we're down to 3. I mean, that's a good draw if it resolves. If it does not, we are dead. All right, this one looks pretty good. Turn 3, assisted Tron on the play with a color fixer, Utopia Sprawl. Well, if we're against Ponza, we're going to be in for some trouble, but if it's just monsters, we should be able to go bigger than them faster, maybe? And of course it's Ponza. Okay, expedition map for a tower, because we're going to have a harder time drawing that at this point. Giant's Boulder. Trying to find a mine. Well, there's a map. We'll keep that. Cycle an int. Repurposer. So there's not really a reason to play the map now because I can't crack it anyway. So I think I'd rather just play Cryogen Relic. And then I'll play the Mire here. Acid Moss. Good stuff. The one matchup you don't want to get paired against when you're playing this kind of a deck. We'll draw 3. We did draw a tower. And we'll play our map. They have a Chrysalis. And they have another Acid Moss, of course. Dude. What a good time. So we have maybe one more turn. Of course I can crack this, and I should probably crack it for a tower because we only have 1 tower left. And then we go for a Candy Trail, and maybe we can get there for next turn. Because we were on the draw, I also wasn't able to... I think we were on the draw. Maybe we were on the play. Yeah, we were. It just wasn't fast enough. Even on the play, I couldn't have up like Ghostly Flicker by the time they started blowing up our lands. Crack this for our last tower. Candy Trail, try to find a mine. Double Boulder is not what we need. This card sucks. We have an Altasaur into a Chrysalis. Even if we top deck a mine, I think we're probably toast at this point. And we don't. Well, perfect. We have no sideboard against Ponza. I guess the plan is just dodge the matchup because otherwise we lose. Because we have, I mean, Cast Down is some sideboard, but like we have nothing to stop the land destruction plan. Moment's Peace would also be maybe okay, but like, I mean, I guess Rod isn't very good. So we'll do a couple of these in place of that. All right, just got to keep faster than a turn 3 Tron. That's what we're going for. Turn 3 is too slow. Well, here's the natural Tron with no color filtering, but I'm not mulliganing below this. I'm not mulliganing away this. Natural Tron, and yeah, Boulder plus natural Tron can hit their Enchanted Forest. It can do it on turn 3, but if they have a Thermokarst and something to ramp them 1 mana on turn 1, they can have a turn 2 land destruction, which is exactly what they did last time. So, yeah, it's still not fast enough if they have the Thermokarst. Them not starting with the nuts would help too. For sure. I mean, we literally were able to recover. I mean, here's the Giant's Boulder Natural Tron. We were able to recover really well twice. They just had the answers after that. Okay, another Boulder. I might want to blow this up pretty immediately. So another Boulder's not terrible, and the Cast Downs may be good. I guess we're going to keep these. But yeah, I mean, with the Arbor Elf, if they have a Utopia Sprawl, they can literally even like Mon Volley Acid Moss us. But if they just have Thermokarst, they can just do that. And they do. What are you going to do? I mean, I'm going to cast down their Arbor Elf, but we literally had the natural Tron, and it did not do enough. And they have the second Thermokarst. Giant's Boulder, I mean, Expedition Map is not even useful until we get another land. I think I'd rather just try to draw a land before we get the map. If they Acid Moss us here, I will concede. Okay, there's an ornament. We get an island. Don't they know that land destruction violates Commander Rule 0? You should talk to them and work things out. Yeah, I tried messaging them that at the beginning, and they weren't really interested in having that conversation, which I thought was a little rude. But hey, Marsh just got on. How's the Boulder feeling? It's feeling good. It feels like it doesn't stop us from getting Thermokarsted on turn 2, which I'm not a big fan of, but it makes for reasonable fodder here. Yeah, it's feeling pretty good, I will say. Lembas, we don't need another Flicker. We'll play a Mire. Pass the turn. They have a Structural Distortion. Nice land destruction deck, opponents. However, if you see Rule 2245, you'll see that I don't like it, and thus you shouldn't do it. Yeah, I'm not planning to dox any of my opponents today, but we certainly could. What do you think this deck would need to really deal with land destruction? Safekeeping. I mean, I feel like that's probably the answer, but it's also like still kind of unreliable because you literally need to have to prevent a Thermokarst on turn 2, even on the play, you have to be on the play, and you need to have like a Boulder or barrels on turn 1 or turn 2 so that you can have the safekeeping up on turn 2, right? Because even like a Prophetic Prism on turn 2, you're tapped out. So like that is probably the answer, but it feels like even that's not going to be reliable enough. All right, we'll keep this one. We're against probably blue-red terror or control. Usually what Roger Estrada's on. Yeah, we'll get rid of barrels. Never mind. It's going to be more Ponza, I bet. Let's go with the Boulder. Get rid of these. Putting them in my gates sideboard now. Yeah, nice. Raise for my 2K on Sunday. Yeah, that'd be sick. What a fun world we live in. All right, we are on to the next game. Let's see if we can get them to not blow up our lands on turn 2. Always bolt the bird. I didn't have a bolt. I would have bolted that bird 100 times over. Based on this, I'm guessing that the meta is 40% Ponza. Why would I play Tron when it's 40% Ponza? That seems not smart. Oh, I should have started with a Boulder, because then I could have killed an Arbor Elf here. It doesn't matter. With that cast down. Boulder the bird. Only costs 8 mana total. Yeah, exactly. I did end up going for the Expedition map over the Scry 2 in case I naturally drew one of our lands. So I do have the turn 3 Tron, except I'm sure we're going to get Thermokarsted because they always have it. Always be packing Bolt. I mean, that's a good point, obviously. Or I guess in this case, Boulder. It's a nice Boulder, I mean, for sure. I guess we can scry a bunch to try to find, in case they don't blow up our land, we can maybe find a tower. Cast down's fine. It's good, but I'm going to get rid of it because we're looking for that tower. Yep, scry 4. Oh, look, Thermokarst. Prism. It's not just a boulder. It's a rock. True. I hadn't considered that. Here's a Rumble. Takes an Arbor Elf. We probably should be killing the Arbor Elf. Nice lands. Would be a shame if something happened to them. And it was. It was a shame. I mean, they can still play a 5 or maybe even a 6 drop, so I'm not sure this does enough, but they took it over a Chrysalis, maybe just because they didn't have red mana. I don't know. It happens. Moment's Peace. All right, looking for pretty much any land I'll keep, I guess. That's so slow. They're gonna play something next turn. If all I do is play a map and a Candy Trail, but I do need to get to Tron if I want to have a shot. I guess we keep it. You know, if I got paired into Ponza twice when I was playing Black Sack, I would be having a field day. It's an easy matchup. Not so much here. Boulder. Yep, Boulder. We have a tower. We will keep. Play our map. Even if they don't blow up our lands, though, I think if they just have like a boarding party, we're going to be dead before we can do enough. You don't have the transformative sideboard into Black Sack. I couldn't even fit enough just swamps in my sideboard to be able to have the mana base to support Black Sack in the transformative. Yep, there's the boarding party, so we're taking 13, maybe 12 if they want to use the Arbor Elf. And, I mean, I have a Moment's Peace to hold them off. So I guess if they don't blow up our lands, I can hold off for Moment's Peace until I can get up to a Worm. Because I can do Tower here, Moment's Peace, so I have 1 mana, which I guess is just this Candy Trail. Looking for a mine. We found a mine. All right. I'm sure they'll have the land destruction just to make sure that they know I can't come back. Yeah, they just have the Structural Distortion. I mean, I guess we'll hold on as long as we can, but we do have a mine on top and a map, so I can still get back to Tron, theoretically. Chris, I have to spend all 3 mana on our Fog, which means I'm not even going to be able to crack the map until the following turn, and then... So I basically have to naturally draw the tower to boarding party into a Sprawl, and they have an Int. So I have to crack this. I have 5 mana. Somehow I'm not sure 5 mana is going to keep me alive. Technically, I could find my other Moment's Peace. So I do have N out. If I can draw it off of Lembas, or I could go for Scry and draw from this Ghostly Flicker. Sure, let's do that. Ghostly Flicker here and here. So I'll draw from the Prism, Scry from the Lembas, and we're dead. Next up, Tronza. I'm sure we'll get paired against Ponza once more. And see, this is why I'm not a Tron player, because the universe doesn't want me to be a Tron player, clearly. If it wanted me to be a Tron player, it wouldn't be kicking me around so much. Overrated, hate Tron, exactly. Then again, sometimes you draw the perfect card, and, I mean, this hand isn't even very good, but if we draw the right cards after getting the turn 3 Tron, maybe we can get there against Familiars. Go with the Candy Trail. We're looking for barrels, because we need that colored mana. Plus, it can be removal for this, which could be cool. All right. I mean, that was a decent turn. I introduced a friend to Pauper, and he accidentally got away with 20-card sideboards for a bit. So all you need to do is hope nobody noticed your 60-card sideboard and transform into black sack. Yeah, let me just sideboard real quick. Hey, those aren't even the same sleeves. Swaps the entire deck. Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, maybe putting the hero on the field was a bad idea for this exact reason. Stepped away for a bit. Have you cast any elders? No, I don't think so. Maybe against fairies once, but no. We've mostly won through, well, we mostly lost, to be honest. But when we won, it was through Brambleworm. And they have double familiar now. That's not great. Oh, look, here's an elder to cast, which just gives them more snap targets, I suppose. I feel like I need to barrels one of these immediately. Otherwise, they can just start, well, they can't combo with the spell bomb on board, but still. I feel like putting this on the field literally just helps them, because it gives them a snap target, 2 snap targets. I'm going to cycle this Insight. All right, I'm going to use this. Sack the Rod. They prohibit it. Negate. I feel like sacking barrels to kill one of their guys when they have 2 doesn't do enough, considering the fact that I'm also going to lose the ability to have colored mana at all. So I actually think I'm going to just pass, even though it's pretty bad to let them have 2 familiars. I just don't know what else to do. I don't think sacking barrels is good enough. And I just have to hope that they have mostly air, but that's not air. And also, I have this Insight to sacrifice the Spell Bomb, I guess, but then I lose a card draw, plus I lose the ability to get rid of their grave. Maybe I just sack the Spell Bomb now. Might be one of the only things keeping me alive. Yeah, we'll just go to our turn. All right, I think we'll play the Elder because it gives something to sacrifice to the Insight, which can also stop a snap. There's the snap, which we're going to Insight away. Prohibit, sure. Is there a more tedious deck? Hate FAMS so much. I would say Turbo Fog's more tedious, but FAMS is up there for sure. Island. All right, let's just see what I can get out of this. Ghostly Flicker, which doesn't really have relevant targets. I mean, I can make another guy here, but that's it. Let's pass. Swing with the Drifter. Ephemerate. Pretty much forced to do this, I think. Worked somehow. Archaeomancer gets back Ephemerate. Meeting of Minds. Just ban all cards and podcasts with familiar in their name. See, I knew people would definitely think like familiars when we named it the Familiar Podcast, but it is singular. And the reason is because there are familiars for everybody. There's the combo familiar, but then you also have your cauldron familiar, which is much more control oriented. And then you also have, I'm just going to go to the next game. You also have your aggro / mid-range familiar in refurbished. So, it's a little bit, the podcast for everybody is the point. All right, we get cast downs, spell bombs, while the extra one spell bomb. No one likes cauldron familiar either. That is very not true. I will not take any slander about Cauldron Familiar. I mean, this feels like the one where these should be better because they're slow and we want to ping them out. But of course, the snap is so unreasonably annoying. So, I don't know. Probably do cut down on them. I mean, Brambleworm is more expensive and gains us life, but what does that matter? But at least it comes back, I guess. And it is a good attacker. All right. We'll keep this one. No interaction, but we do have Tron. Well, we don't have Tron. We have 2/3 of Tron, plus we have ways to help find it, maybe. Cast down is good. Carrick's Torch, I do think is a really good way to finish this game, but it's a little early for it. So let's just go with the Prism here so that we have cast down for a familiar if they play that immediately. Crack their landscape. They have a Preordain. And we have Spell Bomb. Looking for a tower. Don't need another worm. We find the tower. That's very lucky. All right, let's play a Cryogen Relic and a Spell Bomb. If my mouse would work. It suddenly just froze up. Okay, mouse is not working. Great timing on this. Another Tron punishment. Look, I promise I'll never play this deck again. I suppose. What? Like, I've changed the battery. It's literally just... I guess I'll try unplugging it, and plugging it. All right, I think we're good, potentially. Mouse must count as a land for Ponza. Yeah, I mean, that's some pretty serious lag if the mouse was destroyed by the Ponza player, 10 minutes ago. Cycle Alorian, play Glacial Floodplain. I mean, I could play a worm immediately If we do that, they could snap it. Oops. I can't do much about it, but they don't currently have that much of a payoff for that. I mean, they could have a... What's it called? Maybe I just draw 3 with a flicker here. I think that's what we do. I don't think getting a worm down immediately is really where we need to be. We just need to get like a card advantage. And a draw 3 while they can't do much about it seems pretty good. So draw, scry, and draw. I mean, Elder kind of seems reasonable at this point. We have a lot of removal. We can start casting things. We're not going to cast it this turn because again, we want to have the flicker up. And now I want to go for another relic. All of our cast downs. Okay, let's pass. Seems pretty good. There's a familiar. I could just draw 4 with the ghostly flicker at the end step here. If they tap out, that is. Go for a Seagate Oracle, that's fine. Do I want to draw 4, or do I want to have the ability to flicker our worm or our elder in response to their stuff? Draw 4. Oh, I don't have a blue up. What am I talking about? I won't do either. I won't do the one where I need mana that I don't have. All right, we'll crack a Candy Trail, Prism, Mine. Those are good draws. I'm definitely going to cast this down. Let's get another Prism on the field. Cast this down. Actually, let's go for the Elder first, because we still have the ability to flicker, and now we start dealing damage. All right, seems decent for us. I mean, they've not hit the Chancery, which is really good. They've been just a little slow in general. We have 1,000,000 permanents more on the board than them. I mean, I'm not that good at counting, but I'm pretty sure it's 1,000,000 more, something like that. At least 1,000,000. Yeah. At least 1,000,000 more permanents than they have. Scry 2 to the bottom with the Preordain. They are going for the snap. I mean, this snap is just 0 mana kill a token, so I don't have to counter it, because by flickering the wizard, I'm losing it anyway. I'm just denying them 2 mana. I think that's fine, actually. I think I'd rather use the flicker when it's actually denying them like an untap of a Chancery or something, or when I'm like getting another, maybe I want another wizard, maybe I go for a double relic again, or Chaomancer. So we have a spell bomb, plus they're tapped out here. So I'd probably just go for a draw 4. I think that's better than the get a guy here. Please stop. I'd rather this doesn't pop up every single time. I know what he's trying to get. All right, and then we'll crack the spell bomb. We have another one. We don't need the card draw. He's going for a Preordain, which is a little, not silly. It's clearly what he needs, but I think denying anything that he's going for is probably good here. So we have 9, 10, 12 mana. Let's go for the worm, because I think if they have a snap on it, that's just kind of fine. They're not really gaining much out of it. And spell bomb and a map will hold up a cast down. Cycle a Lorien. Snap the worm. I can live with it. They're going to hard cast a Lorien maybe, or a Mole Drifter. Okay. We'll just crack the map here. I could get a tower, which is a little bit more mana, but I think I'd rather just get like a Mire for the extra draw here. You get a tower anyway. All right, let's go for a relic and cycle a Mire, another worm. All right, I guess we'll only hold up 1 cast down, but we'll go for another worm so that we can maybe start trying to kill them. That's the goal. Anyway, familiar. They got a Meeting of Minds, ghostly flicker. Well, we'll try to cast down the Mole Drifter. See if they have a counter spell. Yep, that works. Draw a bunch of cards, swing at the worm, block with the Oracle just to absorb some damage. Okay, fair enough. Play a barrel, a blasting jelly. They're going to negate that. It is removal, so that's fair. Here's another worm. I think I just need to try to kill the familiar because we have the graveyard locked down, and as long as they can't play things very quickly, it's probably fine. We'll Bajuka Bog and pass to them. They have a Meeting of Minds, and there's the Chancery finally, and we win the game. Well, internet's having some more problems, but we persist. I could keep this. We have some scry. We have a bunch of 1-drops. They mulligan to 6. We'll give it a try. We'll just have more cards than them because they're mulliganing, and we're on the draw. So it'll be easy. This might actually be a matchup where you want to be on the draw because it's not really about speed. It's much more about cards here. And we're the best there ever was, drawing a power plant immediately. So now we just get to map, and we have the turn 3 Tron, if my lag goes through. If you win this, it should count as 3 victories. Also, the Ponza games shouldn't count, so 4 ones in play. I think we're stretching it a bit, but still only one game away from a kind of 4-1. That's, I guess, true if you, inside out it. Maybe we made that joke before. All right, well, we'll have the turn 3 Tron, unless they pull out a Boomerang or something. I won't be surprised. It's just more Ponza of a different variety. Lorien revealed for an island. All right, they have the Potential for 2 counter spells, prohibit and or negates. We'll pull out our tower here. Worm is not bad. Luckily here we just get to play a whole bunch of things. So I guess Boulder's probably better to resolve than barrels because being able to blow up their lands is pretty relevant. So I think we'll start with the barrels, and they might counter it just to try to keep us off colored mana, which is somewhat reasonable. And also off of removal for the familiar. There's the prohibit. All right, now I'll go for a Lembus. See if they want to stop that. Nope, it's good. Polluted Mire we can get rid of. Prophetic Prism. So we'll have colored mana no matter what. So I do think Boulder would be good to have resolve, though. Even more than the Prism, maybe. So let's start with Prism. See if they want to counter that. Nope, that one's good. And I could play Boulder and Spellbomb. I mean, they didn't counter the Prism, so Boulder might be good. It is a tower and an expedition map. We already have a power plant, though. I think we just get rid of both of these. Don't really need them at this point. We'll play a Spellbomb. Man, it's kind of crazy when you can cast 5 spells on turn 3, so that when they take the bait and counter one of your spells, you can just, reliably cast 3 more, or 4 more that can all resolve. Pretty strong. They go for a Meeting of Minds, not bad. Probably not as good as they want. They want to be committing more to the board. That doesn't do that. There's a Chancery, so I think we're just going to blow that up with a Boulder pretty immediately. Setting them back 2 turns seems very good. And then we could still play like a Cryogen Relic. There's a world where they could jump through some hoops to like snap their familiar to untap these and then ghostly flicker the Chancery, but they'd have to bounce their own familiar and the Chancery would still flicker, which would mean they'd have to bounce an island anyway, so they'd still be set back quite a bit. So I think that's almost just as good for us, if not better. Oh my gosh, are they going to do it? Bounce the familiar, untap. Yeah, that's so cool. It's cool because it's like a pretty cool, unique play, but also because it's exactly what I called. Like, I wasn't expecting them to actually have it, but so their hand is Island, Plains, Familiar, and 2 unknowns. At this point, I just throw a Boulder at my opponent. It might have been nicer, to be honest. More kind to them. All right, we'll resolve a Cryogen Relic, and we'll pass. This island actually could be pretty good now that we only have 1 way to filter our mana. It allows us to play Brambleworm plus an island. Or rather, Brambleworm Island into Cryogen Relic. They have a Preordain. 2 to the bottom, another Preordain. Hi Strata, seen your videos on YouTube. So for someone who's starting out in Pauper, what would you suggest for a deck? It depends a bit on your style of play. I will say, just to do a little self-plug here, today's Familiar podcast episode is literally about like finding the deck that speaks to you. So I would go ahead and check that out on YouTube or anywhere podcasts are. But yeah, I mean, I would say you want to pick a deck with a proactive game plan. Usually that means like an aggro deck, maybe a combo deck if you're a combo player. Obviously, you want to pick a deck that's going to speak to you. Probably something a little simpler, more linear. It doesn't have to be one color or anything, but there's nothing wrong with picking Mono Red Madness if you want to go for a burn deck that is kind of simple to play and just does the thing pretty easily. But you could go with Elves if you like that. You can do Red Rally. You could do... actually, I think we're going to Ghostly Flicker here now. Yeah, those are some suggestions. White Weenie is a nice one. I'm a big fan of Black Sack. There is a lot of stuff to learn with that one, but it's not a bad deck, I think, to start with. Sorry, I've been taking a long time here, so I have not a ton of time on the clock. We'll keep this on top. Crack this immediately. Well, I've been taking a long time, but also my internet's been lagging a lot, which has not been helping. All right, we'll pass the turn here. Normally play aggro decks, and I've played Living End in Modern since 2012. Yeah, so aggro decks, I would suggest your tried and true, easiest to learn, and also still very good aggro deck is going to be Red Rally. Pretty much just your red deck wins, attack with a lot of creatures, a little bit of burn. That's a very good deck. White Weenie is another deck that is, it kind of does what it says it does. Pretty simple. There's a little more complexity, and it's more like aggro mid-range, but it's still a pretty good one. All right, I'm going to take a little bit of time here to just make sure that we can win the game here. Well, not win the game, but not time out. I'm going to blow up their Chancery immediately because it still is very, very good. I'm going to cast down the Mystic so that I don't die to that. And we're going to play a Cryogen Relic. Draw the Elder, pass the turn. Really try not to time out here because I think we can kill him with this Torch and the Worm. Hopefully they don't have any more snaps or anything. Definitely not a brew. Beating the format while you're trying to learn the format is basically impossible. I would agree with that. There's nothing wrong with brewing, even after like a couple of months of playing the format, but you really want to have a handle on what you're playing against. yeah, Black Stack is a very fun aggro deck as well. So if you want to do that, I'm one of the people who's going to always say you should try that deck because it's very fun and it's one of the ones that is very near and dear to my heart. Let's see. Oh, gosh. But there's a lot of complexity to it that can take some getting used to. Here's a worm. Here's a barrels. Here's an elder. Crack this for a tower. Don't think I did that right. I'm pretty sure I probably should have barreled one of the familiars. But what are you going to do? Archaeomancer. Going to try to blow up their graveyard. Make a black to draw a card. Mystic. I can maybe just kill them with this Carevex torch here. Especially if they take 7 from this worm. Perfect. We'll just torch them for a bunch. They concede because they know we're going to have a torch. And we didn't time out despite all of our internet issues, so that's nice. Barrels before Elder, interesting. That was a rude way of putting it. Maybe a bit. I will say, first of all, did I have the red mana to cast the Elders beforehand? Because if not, that was the reason. And even if I did, the reason I feel like was very clearly stated. I had 2 or 3 minutes on clock. I was lagging. I was just trying to go as fast as possible. But we ended up winning, so it did not matter. Yeah, I mean, we got a 2-3 with the deck. Not the best record, but also 2 of those losses were against Ponza, the #1 worst matchup. Pretty much impossible to win, I would say, if they get a reasonable draw, which they did every single time. I don't think we got past turn 3 without every single one of our opponents and each game being able to blow up at least 1 land, and then usually multiple lands. So that was unfortunate. But the Giant's Boulder seems really good. We learned an important lesson: don't pair into Ponza. 100%. I think that is the main thing that I could do better with the deck, is try to dodge the Ponza matchup a little bit more. So I think that would be pretty important. I'm confident I played some things wrong, and especially the Boulder wrong, because especially earlier it was like, I know that it says destroy any permanent, but I kind of forgot that, like, oh, you could blow up your Unable to Scream or like your opponent's land. I don't know if that was really the right situation earlier on. But as I think I get a little more comfortable with actually being able to blow up anything, it'll be really good. Being able to blow up the Chancery was incredible there, and the fact that they did that plan was really funny. To snap their own creature and then Ghostly Flicker it. But yeah, I think the Boulder's going to be really, really good for this and all the other Tron variants. Barrels is still really good. Like, there were definitely times where we had a Giant's Boulder and a Prophetic Prism and we still didn't have enough colored mana, and being able to use a Barrels on both your own turn and your opponent's turn, and being able to throw it for 5 damage in addition to being able to use the color fixing both times is really good. So I definitely think that this might not fully replace the Barrels, but yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, as far as Tron decks go, this one's pretty fun. I might keep playing it. We will see. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'll see you all next time.